Okay, good morning everyone. You're all very welcome this morning to the first ever mHealth conference in NUI Galway. We're absolutely thrilled and excited to see so many people here from so many different disciplines who've travelled far and wide to what hopefully will be a stimulating event, looking at how many different disciplines can work together to look at doing mHealth research, the nice integration of technology and behavioural science for health behaviour change. So here to open our conference today, we're delighted to welcome Professor Chris Curtin, who's the Vice President for Innovation and Performance here at the University. So I'm going to hand you over to Chris.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks very much. You're all very welcome again, since Jane has welcomed you here to this to the University on this typical Galway morning where more or less every day the sun splits the rocks around here. Right? No, this has been specially arranged by Jane for you here today. Right? Okay. As Jane said, my name is Chris Curtin and I have the grandiose title of Vice President for Innovation and Performance in this University. I'm told I'm the first person that will hold this title and the only person that will hold this title. Right? Yes, yeah. And the job involves the simple task of changing the culture of the institution. You'll recognise, some of you as behavioural scientists, that that's a cinch. Yeah? Okay. Visitors to the university, of which there are many here, you're most welcome, and colleagues, some of whom I recognise in the audience as well. The topic, when Jane asked me would I say a few words at the start to welcome you here, she mentioned that the conference is about mHealth, about which I thought I knew nothing whatsoever, and I'm not claiming that I know very much whatsoever, right? But it is, I think, as you explained to me, about the application of new technologies to health and to health improvement, right? I thought I knew nothing about it at all, but in fact I do actually know something, right? I have an iPhone, which I greatly underutilise, and it actually has an app on health on it, right? Have you got that in your own phones as well, right? Yeah. The only data that I can pick up on this, right, you should be able to pick up everything like your blood pressure, body mass index, which I find quite terrifying. But the only thing I can pick up is the number of steps you take per day, which it gradually works up to the number of steps you take a week, works it up into kilometres and so forth. Tells you something interesting about information as well, because it doesn't tell you how those steps are actually taken. In my case, they're generally taken in a very leisurely fashion. But some days they add up to 6.5 kilometres and I feel great. Yeah. Okay, so the mobile technology is something that I actually thought I didn't know anything about, but which I do. Clearly, it's a really, really exciting topic, right? And something which I, as I say, don't know anything about, but which I'm at the outside quite interested in, which is the whole question of information, what it is and how you utilise it, right? I started my career out and I did a lot of my work in what used to be known as the Agricultural University of Wageningen in the Netherlands, is now Wageningen University. And a lot of the stuff that I was doing was working with people, both social scientists and non-social scientists, on a literature which is incredibly old now called The Diffusion of Innovation. And it was ultimately why and how do farmers all over the world adopt innovation or why they don't do so. And it was really very much about the whole question of what people see as information, how it should be utilised, and what we do with information. It's a very interesting concept, right? When I was growing up, we didn't have a phone in the house, and then a phone came to the house. That time it was a wind-up job, and you put the phone into a room, and when you were making a phone call, you went into the room and you closed the door. Now if you take the GO bus from Galway to Dublin, as I regularly do, you found out every single thing about people's personal life, including things I prefer not to know at all. Yeah. Okay, so information is really very interesting, and I guess it's the core of what you're trying to do here, which is certain types of information, how it might be imparted, right? I'm also reminded of the rather different cultural view about information. I think it appears in one of John McGahern's short stories, where one of the cute local people is about to open a shop, and he says to one of his friends, I think I'll open a shop, but don't tell anybody. It's an interesting concept about where you get the customers. Right? So this is a very interesting idea, the whole question of mHealth, and I hope that you will have a very interesting day here. You have excellent speakers, one of whom is one of my own colleagues who's about to start off the conference proper in a moment. And they are drawn from medicine, from psychology, and from engineering. I also have long held to the belief of the importance of cross-disciplinary and interdisciplinary research. Right? I've tried to do a fair bit of it over my own career. It's very interesting. It also comes, I guess, sometimes a bit of a price that you aren't often taken as seriously within your own domain of research. But ultimately, I think an awful lot of scientific discoveries, valuable change, and ultimately factors that lead to the good of society do come from interdisciplinary research. This university has made enormous financial commitments to the promotion of research over the past 10 years. Enormous, running in to hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of millions of euros. The infrastructure for research in this university is really quite outstanding at the moment. Some of it you will see as you walk around, some of it further up in the north of the campus. We really, really are committed to excellence in research and to achieving excellence in this area. Ultimately, the future of this university is going to depend, of course, exclusively on its staff and what that staff propose to do and how they show themselves to the wider community and, of course, into the areas in which they themselves work. We're greatly hopeful, but also see the challenge which the research dimension of this university offers into the future. In this context, can I conclude by congratulating the psychology group at this university in general, and in particular the health psychology group, who have done an enormous amount to promote the psychology of health, both here nationally and internationally over the years. I see Professor Curtis is here this morning, who has championed health psychology when very little by way of research in that area was taking place in this university. Others have come now to take on board the whole challenge that this area presents to the university, and in that regard, right, the university is very proud of its health psychology group and what it has done here. It is greatly recognised within the university, often spoken about here, and in terms of its national and its international significance. I'd like to congratulate you, Jane, in organising this really interesting day, an innovation for the university, the first, as you say, conference on mHealth within the university. I wish you very well, right, and I hope you will have a most productive and hopefully also an enjoyable day. Thank you very much and good luck.